I've heard that Tom Pritchard was a bit, he liked Chris, but Tammy, didn't get on, and then he was sort of convinced to, in public be as a three and everything, but really, he didn't really get on with Tammy that much. When did Tammy sort of get maybe a bit more difficult to deal with?
Well, dude, from the beginning, she was fucking difficult to deal with. Like, so my brother met her his senior. It was both their senior years of high school, and before he met her, he already had a date to his senior prom. He was at his senior prom, and she drove to the senior prom and made this huge scene and made him leave his date at the prom. Like they could already tell she was high drama, and she was like, dude, she was a fucking nightmare. Like when she had a couple of drinks in her, or even if she didn't, she's just one of those people that loved chaos, loved to create insanity. Just freaking, if you read that professional wrestling stories, you knew the kind of shit that I was seeing. It was fucking bonkers. Like I have so many fucking crazy Tammy stories, but I'd say it got progressively worse. And then when she wasn't Sunny the hot looking chick anymore, she still thought she was, which made her even more like intolerable, because now she's like this freaking, she's bitching, yelling. Yeah, she was just really tough to fucking deal with.
She's not even good to look at anymore. That saving
right?
grace.
I mean, not that I never looked at her like that. Obviously, she was like my sister-in-law, but it would be like, when I, like years later when I got older, it would be like, all right, bro, love you. I'll see you later. All right, Tammy, later. And then he'd be like, dude, can you just say you love Tammy too when you leave? And I'd do it for like a week, and then she'd do something fucking completely bonkers. And then I'd be hating her, but then he convinced me to be nice to her again. And it was just the whole fucking, if you want me to tell you some crazy Tammy stories later or now, I can. But
well, this actually might lead into a bit, because so in English vernacular, I'd say quite a few stories, bit depressing, of course, but Tammy started in the WWF slagging her way around that locker room like nobody's business. Like Shawn, obviously, is the famous one, Davy Boy, Pillman, apparently. Like,
yeah. And
why?
and the fucked up thing is, my brother, he didn't fucking want to believe it. Like, when people are like, oh, Chris must have been into it. It's like, dude, I saw him trying to fucking hang himself. Like, he wasn't into it. Trust me, he fucking hated it. And when I was a lot more quicker to knock a motherfucker out than Chris was. And he's like, you're gonna come across Shawn Michaels, don't do nothing, be cool to him. This is like later on in life when I'm like in my 20s. He's like, as far as I know, they're just rumors. Had I known now, because all right, I'll take you to this one. I'll tell a story that ties into that, because at the time I thought everything was just rumors. So this is when Chris was alive. Me and him would kind of get like, Tammy's out of the business, and me and him would get like booked as like a package deal. And we'd go all over together, have the fucking greatest time. And like during the week or whatever, we'd like play down our bookings. We'd be like, oh, we got to go to Boston. It's gonna be the shits. Yeah, you don't want to come. But sometimes she would get like a fucking child and like lock herself in my car. So anyway, she gets herself on this trip to Boston with us. And so after the show, like behind, like backstage, there's like a bar and shit for like the boys. And we're all sitting around a table. It's like me, my brother, Balls. I forget who else was there. A couple other guys. Like they'd bring in a couple more guys. Like guys I'd see there would be like Billy Gunn, Raven, Brian Christopher. I don't remember the exact match of guys that night. But Tammy's at the bar, and all of a sudden she hauls off and fucking slaps this dude at the bar. I'm the closest one to the bar. So I grab the dude, and drag him outside to put the boots to him. A couple of the guys follow me. And he's like, dude, I swear to God, it did nothing. She just slapped me out of nowhere. Then Chris is going, time to go, time to go. Tammy's puking in a fucking garbage can, and people are taking pictures on their phone. So she passes out. We pick her up. We throw her in the back of the car, close the door, whatever. That's par for the course. But I'm driving. I'm 19, 20, something like that. I've been drinking. I took a couple gimmicks. It's starting to rain. And he's like, dude, this is before he got like clean. He's like, oh, I wish we had more somas. Like we have like 0 somas. I'm like, fuck somas. I'm like, let's just smoke a joint to be fine. For some reason, Tammy's fine with every other drug in the book, but hates pot, hates it. So out of her fucking stupor, she wakes up, she goes, "Smoke pot, you two motherfuckers." And she just started attacking us from the back seat, kicking us in the head, fucking punching the two of us. I'm in Boston. I'm fucking half drunk, driving in the fucking pouring rain. He goes back to try to like make her stop hitting us, and she fucking bites him on the face. I fucking take the next exit off. I park the car. I'm like, "Dude, handle this, please." I go walking away. Next thing I know, I see a cop car pulling up to my car. So I go running back to the cop car. She jumps out of the back. She goes, she's like, "I woke up and these two were beating me." I go, "What, you crazy bitch?" And she fucking swings at me right in front of the cop. The cop's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, I got to take everybody in." I'm like, "Listen," I'm like, "the hotel is like right there." I'm like, "Let me just take them to the hotel and you know, you won't see us ever again." The cop's like, "All right, go to the hotel." So I'm taking him to the hotel, and Chris is like, "Tammy, what's wrong?" Bam, she punches him. He's like, "Babe, what's wrong?" Bam, she punches him. We get into the hotel room. He's like, "Babe, what's wrong?" Bam, punches him. He puts her on the bed. He's like, "Babe," she reels back and kicks him right in the fucking face. I couldn't watch this anymore. I grabbed him and I dragged him out of the fucking room. I threw him into the hallway, shut the door behind us. He's fighting to get back in. I'm fighting him to not let him in. We kind of come to a stalemate. I'm just like, "Dude, let's get in the car and fucking leave her. Fuck this shit. Like, fuck her. Like, let's go. Let's go right now." And he's like, "Dude, he's like, I can't." I'm like, why? You know? And he's like, "I brought her into this business. I feel like I have to take care of her." I'm like, "Fuck that. Like, this is our chance. Like, let's get the fuck out of here." And had I known all that shit that she really did cheat on him with every fucking swinging dick there was, I could use that as fucking ammo. But he was always like, "Dude, it's just rumors. It's just rumors." So, you know, I think if he really knew the scale of him cheating on her, if I had that, I would, you know, I would have so much more ammunition to go after him with. To get her to
like just a PowerPoint.
You know?
These are the reasons you should leave.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know, she gets drunk, causes scenes. That's a fucking pain. You know, we always have like Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that shit at my parents' house, and he'd be like, "Don't get all fucked up before we go." Of course, I'd pick him up to come over here, and boom, she'd be all gimmicked up in the car. We'd be at 7-Eleven trying to give her Red Bull and shit. My mom's calling, "Where are you guys? Dinner's done." It was just a nightmare, like every fucking holiday. Ugh.
Yeah.
Just and like somebody, Mike Johnson from PWI was like, "Are you surprised at all by Tammy and all her arrests?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Not at all." I'm like, because I'm like, me and my brother, we would never call the police. We would just, I'm like, it wasn't the best coping mechanism. We would just forget that it happened the next day and wake up like everything was fine, you know, and just not talk about it. Whereas regular people would just call the cops and they see somebody drunk attacking people, you know, where me and him would just go on with our lives, you know. But I guess there's something to be said that he really fucking loved her, and he, you know, they met when they were 17. But like I said, had I known all that shit, I would have fucking had so much more ammo to go after him with, you know.
Yeah, something to break the hypnosis, you know, the spell.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
To be like, "Look what's happening, dickhead."
I know you go to, it's WWE, but it's WWE ECW, and it's Balls Mahoney who, when he's in there, recommends you to come in, and you end up doing quite a few. It wasn't all jobs, was it? Or was it all losing?
Yeah, dark
was
match.
Was it all to Balls or?
Yeah. Well, I did a tag match with me and Damian Adams versus Balls and Axel, and after that, Axel, due to his problems or whatever he was going through at the time, wasn't going to work there. And Balls was like, "Dude," like I was saying, he was like, "Dude, me and you fucking, we could tag, we tagged on the indies together for a bunch of different places." He's like, "Let's fucking do this shit." I mean, Axel was a lot better worker than me, but physically I could do more, and I was younger, and it did make sense. But on the other hand, my family, you know, I was lying to them. I was telling them I wasn't wrestling. So if I like all of a sudden popped up on TV, like, you know, like what the fuck? So it was like, it was really tough, like what to do at that time. So
I believe, is this the time when you actually meet Shawn Michaels as well, face to face?
Yeah. Like I was sitting down. It was either before or after a match, and I was talking to Jericho, who's like, you know, he was like standing in a doorway. I'm sitting down, like like taking my pads and shit off. And Shawn Michaels sits next to me. We give each other a little like wrestling handshake. And Jericho's like, it's Candido's brother. And he's like, hey, bro. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, your brother was such a really great talent. You know, he's like, sometimes in this business, you have to be out for yourself and be selfish. I'm like, all right, thanks for that. You know, I wish I had a more exciting story. That's what he said, you know.
But, did it sort of like think, you know, all those years, God, if I find him face to face, and then when it actually happens, you don't, I don't know if you like freeze or you sort of just think,
no,
it's not really worth it.
This was like before, it was before a match. If I would have fucking just started kicking the shit out of him, everybody would have just kicked the shit out of me. I mean, I had some allies, but I would have got my ass kicked. I don't care about that part. But then Balls wouldn't have had his match, and Axel wouldn't have, and I would have fucked shit up for them. And I mean, at the time, I was more. It was right when I walked into the building, and said my hellos and was sitting down. Is when Shawn Michaels sat next to me. So if I had started shit then, we were the very first match on. So if I had started shit then, it would have felt good to me to fucking get some fucking to like knock him out or whatever. But then it would have fucked everything up for everybody else. So at the time, my head was more focused on the match at hand, and my brother telling me. Because my brother died in 05. This was in either late 05 or early 06. So my brother telling me, when you see him, don't do nothing, just be cool. So I just did what he told me to do, you know?